Yo, welcome back to another Web Dev Q&A where we help aspiring developers get jobs and junior developers grow. In this Q&A, I'm going to go ahead and bring on another front-end developer because I talk way too much sometimes. But I'm going to give you a fresh perspective, someone that became a front-end developer fairly recently, something like that. I actually forgot when she became a front-end developer. Either way, you get another perspective. So it's going to be just like before. We're going to do a Q&A. You are welcome to ask her questions. But yeah, we'll go ahead and pull her in a few minutes. Oh, Pat, what's up? How you doing? Happy Friday. Let me go ahead and toss this in Discord. Announcements. All right. I gotta start weaning myself off of caffeine. I take a lot of caffeine for my workouts. That's the next thing I gotta tackle. But man, caffeine feels so good with workouts. All right, we're live for another Q&A with Zynkah. This time. Bring your web dev / career questions. All right. Let's go live. There we go. Publish. Confirm. All right. Nice. What's up, everyone? How you doing? Happy Friday. Neon, happy Friday. Code Chronicles, what's up? How you doing, JJ? Good afternoon. Hope everyone is going to have a great weekend. I think I'm working all weekend. I think that's what I'm doing. But it's going to be a good weekend. I feel like I have more and more energy as this diet gets on point. And, I got to put out an announcement. We're going to be starting a hackathon March 1st. It is actually beginner friendly this time. And yeah, I'm actually going to post an announcement probably on YouTube, LinkedIn, and Discord. So look out for that. The event is up in Discord. If you just sign up for the event, in a bit, you'll get access to the actual hackathon channels. But yeah, I just want to toss that out there too. All right, let's go ahead and jump into the channel. All right, how do I do this? All right. Hey, what's up, Zynkah? Hey, what's up, Zynkah?
Good, how are you?
Damn it. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me?
Hold on. All right. Let's see. Why can't I hear you? Maybe it's my settings. Voice, audio. I'm not. I hope I don't have to mess with these. Oh, I know why. Hold on. I'm stupid. So I don't think you're actually on stream right now, Zynkah. Nor can they hear you. Yeah. Ha. It's connected to my Mac.
Okay.
Okay. So we're almost there. But what's up?
That's good. How are you? Can you still not
Should be
hear
able to
me?
hear
Or do you
you.
hear me?
I still can't hear you. Oh my God.
Maybe it's my settings. Let's look.
All
All right, I
let's see. Hold on.
mean,
For
it's
some
showing up on
reason,
mine.
it's picking up the wrong. You're still talking. Okay. Everyone on stream, give me a second. Let me see if I can figure this out. I might just restart Discord. Let me do that.
Okay.
Or is this the correct one? I heard you making fun of me. I can hear you now. I caught you just at the right time. Hold on, let me switch back. Okay. You know what? I'm gonna restart. Give me 1 second.
Okay.
Be right back. How do I... Discord doesn't even pop up. How do I restart Discord on Windows? The Discord icon literally doesn't even pop up.
They said they can hear
All right,
me
let
in
me,
chat.
I'm gonna say what's up to a few people. Sorry, we'll be good to go in like 5 minutes. Hooj, can the hackathon go on dev post? Also, want to build my hackathon portfolio out there. I just had a community night where they put it up. Yeah, I don't care. It's gonna be your project. Go for it, man. What's up, Sean? Welcome back. All right, Jessica. Wait, you guys heard Jessica, but I didn't. So you heard her making fun of me. I see. All right. You could still hear. What's up, Andrew? What's up, Pseudo? Modern World of Warcraft. Okay, I'll fix that too. We'll fix 1,000 things. All right. Let me, the Discord icon isn't popping up when you click the little hide arrow and unhide arrow in Windows. It's not popping up. Okay, I'm literally doing a Control-Alt-Delete. Hold on. You could probably still hear it, can't you?
I can hear you.
I hate Windows so much. Where is Discord? Okay. Where's Discord? It's not popping up on anything. Nope. Even when it's alphabetized. All right. End task. There we go. All right. Let me try this again. We're almost there. All right. Opening Discord. Let me hop in the mods channel. I'm still in Discord, but I closed it? What? Okay. I think we're just gonna run with this. Let me switch mics and we'll see if that works. Input. Oh, that's why.
You sound way better now.
Okay. I think we got it working. What's up?
Hey, it's good.
All right. Let me do full screen with this. Get rid of that and put you on screen. Hey, what's up, Rezio? You love Mac, Windows, and Linux. I'm a lover, not a fighter. You're weak. Let's see. All right. You should be able to see her now. No. Hold on. We're almost there. How about now? There we go. Except, oh my God.
Yeah, you're gone now.
I hate this. Hold on. Full cam. All right. User settings, voice video. We're almost there. Let's see. It is the right camera. Can we do... Are you kidding me? What do you mean? Oh. All right, there we go. What's up?
Finally, success, huh?
Yeah. All right, let me put this scene back up, and I think we're good to go.
Perfect.
All right. All right, so how you doing?
I mean, I'm good. Just taking a little break and, doing the stream with you. I've been messing a lot with CSS animations and stuff like that this whole last week.
Have you? How's that going?
Yeah. It's going pretty good. We're using Tailwind, so like I'm using all of the like CSS like that I've learned and trying to put it in the toe and config, and I can't get like the hover to work, so I'm working on that right now.
Gotcha. What are you learning it for?
Well, they're making me do like the marketing site right now. So I just got done with like the other thing that they were making me work on. So now it's like a whole new project from scratch and kind of want it to be a little bit like cooler and kind of customized, like not so boilerplate. So like adding in my own little animations. This is my first time doing all this too. Well, I mean, I've done it a little bit before, but nothing like this, like, I don't know, customized, not just like copy paste. So I'm getting a few snags.
Okay, that's awesome. Animations are fun, but they're tricky. I think
Yeah.
I think I did them once professionally. It was fun to do. When did you become a front end developer?
Officially in October. Well, I do a little bit of back end too, but I do mostly front end, yeah. But in October is when I was hired. Hmm.
Okay, so you work with Next.js. When you say a little bit of backend, are you just talking about like setting up like what's like with Next.js?
Yeah, like I set up the database and
Oh,
connect it. We're using Drizzle RM in the other site.
huh.
So
Okay,
yeah.
that's pretty cool. All right, so it's been almost 6 months. Okay, that's pretty cool. Yeah, like I I honestly was really excited to see you finally get that position because what you did, you started live streaming it for a little bit. You live coded, and then you were working on, was it a Final Fantasy website?
Yeah, yeah, I was making like a Final Fantasy X wiki style website.
Okay. Did you ever finish it?
No, I didn't really finish it. I got like a lot of it done, but I didn't finish it. And now I looked at the code here recently. I'm like, oof, because like it's still using page router instead of app router. It's all JavaScript instead of TypeScript. Like there's so much stuff I have to update that I've learned in the last 6 months. And it doesn't have a database. Everything is like in the file, like all the
I
data.
remember
So
that.
it's like, man, this is a lot of work. I'm just kind of, so it's just sitting there right now.
Yeah, you had all the data in like a JSON file, didn't you?
Yeah, it was all JSON.
Okay, very cool.
Sorry,
Um,
they're doing something loud out there.
I can't hear it.
Okay, good.
No. All right, cool. Let's just jump into it. So if you guys have any questions, I'll fix the WoW category on Twitch. Thank you, Sudo. And what's up, by the way? But yeah, if you guys have any questions or blockers, feel free to ask in chat. I'm really going to lean on her answering the questions. I'm going to be lazy. I answered too many questions, and you probably are sick of hearing my answers anyways. So yeah, if you guys have web dev questions, if you have questions about becoming a web developer, feel free to ask in chat. But we'll actually start with one question that popped up. And no, not the red and blue lights today, Anthony. What are thoughts on becoming a self-taught developer in this new area of AI?
I mean, AI would probably make self-taught easier than before, huh? Don't you think? I always see AI as a tool. I don't think it's like a job stealer like everyone says. I think it's like a way for you to learn faster and easier. Like, for example, when I read something I don't really understand, I just put in there like explain this in great detail. And it'll give me like this long paragraph, and it always helps a lot more.
Explain this in great detail. Um, I think a lot of people sleep on AI. So you're talking about actually giving you help when you get stuck. What else have you used AI for? Or is that it?
Um, I mean, yeah, mostly for help and like, for example, CSS is another example of like for some reason I can't get it to like line up how I want it to line up, and I've messed with it for an hour. I'll just be like, explain why this isn't doing this, and then it'll help me like understand where like I put the property in the wrong div or something, and that's why it's all wacky. Yeah. So stuff like that.
Yeah, that's pretty convenient. I, like I flat out, I tell people, I'm like, hey, if you want a concept explained to you in a very simple manner, um, like ask it to explain it to you like you are a 5-year-old or like you are a
Exactly.
7-year-old. And I gave that advice trying to sound like, oh, I discovered like like it was a new discovery of AI, but I literally, there was a concept that I was trying to learn where the the explanation was too difficult, and I needed it to explain it to me like I'm a 5-year-old, and that helped. But that's where it came from. But yeah, you really can use it for your mentorship. You can have it build challenges. You can have it build like project ideas, and like even if you want to come up with different like if a lot of people get stuck with like what should I build, like you can literally give it a list of fundamental concepts that you went over, your interests, what kind of sounds cool to build, like what kind of apps that you would love to build if you could build them like one day where you get the skill level to actually build them, and literally just how I worded it. It doesn't have to be neat, and just say like with everything that I told you, go ahead and give me like a list of 100 project ideas. It's really powerful. I think people sleep on it. Have you ever used it to like help mentor you?
Very briefly, like I said, on like little things where it's like explain this concept, explain like this error, like things like that. Um, Me and my brother talk about this all the time, though. He's also, like a Python developer, so he's like, yeah, like people who learn how to use these AIs in like in a way where they'll become better developers, like they're the ones who are going to get hired. And from this point on, like it really is almost more important than learning like how to manipulate the AI into like helping you than over like kind of coding in general, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like it unfortunately that's where it seems like the it's heading right now.
Yeah, yeah. I don't, but I really just don't see anything to fear in it. It's just when I look at all the reasons, like I look at all the reasons people are not becoming a developer. A lot of it's a skill issue. A lot of it's just they don't put themselves out there. They don't network. They don't like their resume doesn't really reflect their best self as a developer. Like there's so many other things. I don't know. You know, the fear mongering triggers me, but I appreciate getting
Oh
your opinion.
yeah. The fear mongering, especially like the content creators on YouTube, it's it's almost annoying when you know better. It's like no, like majority of the people who are getting stuck, it is like you said, it's just they're not putting themselves out there. They're not applying themselves as hard as they think they are. Like even every day I'm like, man, I could be doing better. I could be doing more. Like we all have room to grow, and people refusing to accept that they're not in exactly where they need to be and just saying, oh, it's the market. Oh, it's AI. Like that's not helping you. Like it's just stupid to think that way.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree with you. I do. Focus on the actions that you can take and what you can control. Um, when looking for jobs, did put more effort into learning? I'm just going to add words. Did you put more effort into learning data structures and algorithms or building projects?
Building projects. I tried so hard to read like every data structure and algorithm book available that I could get online, and none of them really made as much sense as I would like them to. It wasn't until I started building and actually using the stuff that I needed and then looking up the information afterwards and explaining what I did that it finally clicked. So I think build first, and then like while you're building, if you don't completely understand what you're doing, then look it up. Because if you have no reference of like what you're actually doing, and the examples they give in the books are never useful. So I would say do your project, and as you're going along, then like look in the index and find the parts, because that's when it'll actually start clicking.
I like that. That's really good advice. I felt like, yeah, data structures and algorithms, it just when people hear they need to learn them, they're a bit abstract. The problems aren't relatable. It just like I like the idea of actually when you need the data structure, and I think that's like a good use case to finally start diving in once you get some project work. If you actually have a use case for anything that you're going to be learning with DSA, then start diving in a little bit. It doesn't, and I think a lot of people will go through like an entire course or an entire tutorial that's like spans weeks. When like you can just bookmark stuff. You can just like get a reference of what data structures exist, and then when you actually need it, then maybe you can bounce into it. But the tricky thing is, it's like if you don't really manage a lot of data, you don't really need to be efficient with how you're handling it, especially with a lot of front end projects. So you do have to force yourself to get some exposure to that outside of your projects, but a lot of people just will dive into it before their project work.
Yeah,
Yeah.
if you've seen how many bookmarks I have, it would probably give me an anxiety attack. There's too many.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it gives a lot of people a bit of anxiety. What's it like doing a front end interview?
Well, I did quite a few before I finally got hired, and the one who hired me, he's like super casual. He was so chill. So like I wasn't entirely sure like if I was gonna get it or not. But yeah, that was really neat because we did a project together essentially. Like he assigned me a like a WebSocket like mock Twitter feed thing that he wanted me to make and gave me a week and I did it and we went over why I did what I did and like how I did it and he gave me a few pointers of like how to make it better and give me another week to really fine tune it. And then, we went from there. And there was a few others that gave me take home assignments like that too. Um, like when I applied for JP Morgan, they gave me a leak code like test and a few other too. But like for the most part, that found they were like take home assignments for front end. They wanted to see like your creativity and all that stuff.
Um, how many hours did you put into the take home for the job that you got?
It was like a few hours a day. You have to remember I was unemployed at the time. I just had like an internship that was really casual
Mhm.
before then, and I was Twitch streaming. So I was putting in a few hours a day to like really try. I never worked with WebSockets either, so that was my first experience with
Mhm.
WebSockets. So that was a little stressful, and I really was trying to make it like really creative. At that time, I was super into Next UI, as I'm sure you probably remember, like was like all I would talk about back then. And so I was building it with Next UI, which was really experimental at the time, really limited, but it looked cool to me at least. So I was spending a few hours, like I said, just figuring out how to use WebSockets, and then on top of that, make it look like a Twitter feed essentially, but in my own way. So yeah, about maybe 10 to 12 hours total.
Yeah, so on the flip side, that's a lot of hours to invest in a job where you're not guaranteed that job.
Yeah. Yeah. But also at the same time, like this was my first
Mhm.
real job outside of an internship, and I wanted to prove myself and I wanted to make it really good. And like I was so grateful already to get the opportunity since I just have a boot camp and like a casual internship before then. So I was like, well, this is awesome that they're even giving me the time of day. So, and obviously it worked out. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, it did. And I mean, quite frankly, I think a lot of people need to hear it. I mean, I'm not going to pretend like the market isn't rough right now. And you went, um, I mean, you put the effort in that other people probably wouldn't, that were competing with you. And a lot of people, I think, need to realize if it's going to be a little bit harder to get in, like, and you have that available time, and just be upfront with the employer if like this is the available time you have, but you put the extra effort in. I see so many aspiring developers that kind of put minimal effort in, thinking that they're going to be competitive, thinking that they're going to get the job. And I mean, it's someone like you that gets the job. That's the reality.
Yeah, I think a lot of it's just humbling yourself and
Yeah.
like you got to prove yourself, especially if you're entry level. Like, why would they choose you over anyone else if you're not going to put 110% in, you know? Especially when
I
you
agree.
lack so much experience and knowledge.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. And you earned it. I mean, you earned the job.
Thanks.
Uh, I mean, do you actually feel like you earned the job?
I mean, of course you have imposter syndrome, but I feel like I did. I mean, the internship I did for 9 months for free. Like not many people I would do that. They're like, oh, I need to get paid, but I put a lot of work in it. For almost 2, 3 years before I got this job, I was learning to code and making projects and doing, group projects, all this for free. So I felt like, I did put the time in. I had the passion. I lacked the real world experience of having an actual job. And that's all I wanted.
Good for you. Yeah, that makes me feel. So you actually feel like you earned it, and you should. That's good. Um, and if you guys have any questions about trying to get a job, like I'll bring this question up. Um, but I think like some of you are just focused on just compiling or compounding on your anxiety. I'd focus on like what actions can you take to actually stand out rather than being so worried. But I'll read this question anyways, because I know it's a common question. Isn't it concerning that junior dev programmer jobs are becoming less and less? What are your thoughts on it, specifically the recession thing, and do you have any suggestions on it?
Oh, me.
You.
Wow. I mean, yeah, with like AI, senior and mid-level devs are far more efficient. They can knock out a lot more code a lot quicker, and a lot of the, basic stuff that junior devs normally would do, they can just put into Copilot or, ChatGPT and have it up in a couple minutes. So, I mean, I understand that pressure, but like you said, a lot of it is standing out. One thing I heard from a lot of interviews I got, even the one I got hired in, was that they weren't really looking for me to have the knowledge. They were looking for the passion, and they were looking for like the motivation, and just like people who are willing to do this long term, regardless of like the struggle. So I feel like I feel like also the question of the economy, I'm sorry, I'm probably all over the place. I think the economy is going to get better. I think the market's going to get better. It can't get worse, right? So as long as you put your passion into something, do something that is unique. Like don't do a tutorial or like I said the other day, like a to-do list or something like everyone's doing. Don't do that. Like, do something you're really, really passionate about. Do it for a long time. Put it out there. Like I said, I was found because I put my Final Fantasy project in the Next.js showcase, like little channel in their Discord. Like that's how my boss found me. He reached out to me and was like, okay, now do this. So and he liked that I was streaming too every day, like my code. And they were like, you obviously have the passion and the drive. You just need a little bit more mentorship. So I think if you do all that, junior roles will find you at that point. Like instead of like, oh, I have to look, like just be yourself, put yourself out there, show the passion, the drive, and it will work out. At least that's what happened to me. So I think that will happen for everyone else too. People want to see your drive. So I wouldn't worry so much about like jobs disappearing, because like that's the case in any industry right now. Like just be passionate, and it's gonna work out. Be consistent, and like this whole anxiety thing, like you got to get over it. You gotta go to the channels, you gotta go to the communities, you gotta, like I said, I always tell people to stream. Like you'll be surprised how much that really helps to just live stream. So like just put yourself out there. It's gonna happen.
It's very easy to just add to your anxious thinking. It's very easy. It's an easy path. Um, it's hard to, regardless of what you're thinking, continue to take the action, be consistent, continue to learn to code, continue to, take the advice that you're getting from, whether it's content creators or mentors or something like that. It's very hard to do that regardless of what you're thinking. I think a lot of us have anxiety on what could be or could not be. It's really easy to get caught up in that thinking, but entry level developers are getting hired every single day. Why are they getting hired? Why are you not getting hired? Like, I think at a certain point, you just have to be critical. It's like, hey, maybe my anxious thinking, maybe my self doubts that I humor and I attach emotion to, and that I continue just reinforcing, maybe that's holding me back. Maybe that's giving me a perspective that's blocking me. Right? Like, and I think a lot more people need to be critical over their thinking, because like, if you continue to focus on you not accomplishing your goals, like you're not going to have the steam and the momentum to actually reach those goals. You're not going to spend an extra hour that day working on your project. You're not going to learn WebSockets when it's brand new and it's daunting and it's intimidating. You're not going to do that. And the more you reinforce this anxious thinking, it becomes a blocker for you. That's all it is. So like, that's why, I mean, you've been around a while. It's why I crush this victimhood and anxious thinking. It serves no one, and it only blocks your growth. It blocks you from getting a dev job. So like, I think a lot of people just need to think about like, why aren't they getting a dev job and other people still are every single day? right? You can continue to
Yeah.
blame the market, you can continue to blame the economy, or you could figure out what the hell these other people are doing to actually get dev jobs. So, like, I think we're like very much aligned on that.
Yeah, people need to think outside the box, because there was a good while after, I graduated boot camp that I felt like, I think it was like 6, 7 months after, I was like, man, like everything I'm doing is not working. Like I'm not getting a job. I'm not good enough to, do the leak code test. Like I feel like I'm studying every day and nothing is working. So I just switched up my entire thing. And I think that's right around where we met and we had the interview. And I was like, you know what? Maybe I should live stream my code. And like that's when everything changed. Like I started getting a lot more confident. I started learning a lot more. I started like, reaching out and feeling more comfortable expanding to all the Discord channels. So maybe just try something new. I'm not saying doing exactly that, but like if your process isn't working, change it. Instead of blaming everything else, like just try something different.
I thought you guys were gonna get a different perspective than me, but apparently not. I love it. I love it. Guys, if you have questions, if you have blockers about becoming a web dev, feel free to ask in chat. Let's see, where was it? You've never used Angular before, right?
No, Angular's completely foreign to me.
Okay, we're gonna skip that question. And like tech questions, you could just Google probably. Let's see. Where was it? Oh yeah, can you share networking strategies, especially how you networked before you got the job?
Yeah, like I said, Discord is huge for me. I'm in almost every single programming channel possible. I mean, if I just extend what I have here, I have Drizzle, TypeScript, Tailwind, Next UI, JavaScript, Python, React. I mean, I can go on and on and on. Join every community. And I know a lot of people use Slack too. I'm not a big fan of Slack, but they all are all in Slack too. Just join all those communities and just talk to people. Like hang out. I mean, I know some people use Stack Overflow too. I'm not too big on that one either, but it's there. And also, Twitch has a really awesome coding community. Like, there's so many regulars out there, and they will talk to you, they will hang out with you, they will help you. That's another good place to go. But yeah, it's not, I'm big on Discord. That's where I recommend. Like, everyone has a Discord channel now, so go in there. And there's a lot of useful information on there too, and they'll always tell you when there's events like going on, when, like anytime there's an update in their docs or anything, it's all on there. So that's what I would do.
I like it. Do you have any Discord communities you'd recommend besides mine? I'm just reading off.
Yeah, well, obviously yours is the best. No, I mean, the
No.
React one is really active and they always have events. I like that one a lot. The Python one is really good too if you're more into Python instead of React.
What do you mean,
Those are
like
my
the
two.
Python one? What?
Like
Where do you
there's
find
a
that?
Python Discord.
Where do you find
Wait.
that?
I think most of the Discord channels I joined by just going to their official website, and it's usually like
Hmm.
in their footer or something. That's where I find most of the Discord links. I just like go to the doc site and they have like, community, and then in the community will be the links for the Discord channels.
Okay, I like that. And you even mentioned like Twitch has a pretty cool coding community, and you just go to the software and development channel. I don't know what the category is, but you could just look up coding streams on Twitch and just find a streamer you like. Join their community too.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some really cool ones on there that I've gotten to know over the years, and I definitely recommend hanging out with them because also like if you do live stream yourself, they'll help you with your code, and that's kind of cool too because you learn a lot of things you would never look up, you would never think about, because of the experience gap.
That's true. I'm joining the Tailwind CSS Discord now. Can you go ahead and link are you open to linking your Final Fantasy project in chat?
Yeah, just give me a second here. Probably easiest if I just open you up here. I think I have it logged
Or
in.
maybe we could just like get people to join Discord and you could post it in general chat.
Yeah, just join the Discord, guys. And if you go to my bio, I have everything linked in there, including my GitHub. And in my GitHub in the bio is my Final Fantasy site. Like I'm very traceable on there. You can find everything I am on the Discord there.
I like that. I like that. And guys, if you have any questions, any blockers, feel free to ask in chat. I know a lot of people are just kind of hanging out and listening, but yo, this is your chance. We barely do this. We barely bring people on, so definitely, definitely ask in chat. What like, what do you think is holding people back from getting a dev job? Like, I don't know if you work with or like even code with a lot of other junior developers or like in different meetups you've seen or in discords, but like, what do you think are like a few main things that are just holding people back from actually landing that job?
To be completely frank, a lot of the entry level devs that I see applying, and like this is no shade, I also suck. They just don't have the skills. Simple as that. Like they still have a lot to learn. I mean, like I see a lot of the profiles that you review and some other people like from old, boot camp, and it's just like as someone who's done this for the last 6 months now professionally, it's like one, I didn't realize how unprepared I was when I first got this. And two, like there's so much stuff I had to look up that I did not know, like, and there's just a skill gap. People have to put more time in and they have to push themselves further than they've ever been before. Simple as that. Like people get comfortable where they're at and they think like, oh, this is enough, and it's just not. I think that's what's mostly holding people back. It's just they're not at the skill level they think they are for an actual job. Like I can't speak for every job, but like I'm on my own most of the time and like I'm just assigned an assignment and they say do it and they're like, okay, well I gotta figure out how to do this. And like other than the coding communities and like some, Stack Overflow, like there's not much help out there. You gotta figure it out. So start doing that. Start figuring out how to like actually solve problems on your own and create stuff that is not just super basic, and then start coming, like because I think that's mostly what's holding people back. It's just they're not ready. They think they're ready, but they're not ready, you know?
Yeah, I mean, that's true. And like even after coding boot camp, you supplemented a bunch and you put that effort in and you live streamed and you continued working on a project. Like I know it's rough to hear, but a lot of people have no idea how little they know. And
Yeah.
I think it just comes down to I think they rushed into it. I think they had a false expectation they were going to get a job faster than they get it. And then they start getting that burnout and like is this really for me? Am I really capable of this? But a lot of like it's when when we say like your skill gap, there's just too big of a skill gap and you need to continue working. That's not a bad thing. It's not saying that like you're not capable of getting this job, but you might need to extend your path 6 to 8 months to like really dive deep. And if the idea of that, it's just not even tolerable, like it's not even realistic for you, it's like, well, I mean, you're probably going to end up as another statistic of a developer that gives up. Like that's just a reality. And so get your finances in order. Like pick up a part-time job. Don't quit your job and learn to code on the side. But I think a lot of people need to lengthen their path and they're going to see much more success. They're going to feel better about themselves. But yeah,
Oh yeah.
that's a big one. There's a big skill gap.
Yeah, and like I said, I still feel it every day because like I'll get assigned an assignment where I'm like something I've never done before, and I'm like, oh my God, like how am I gonna do this? But it does get easier. Like just the last 6 months and all the things I've learned and looking back, like I said, my old projects, I'm like, oh God, this is horrible. Like every day it starts to make more sense. Every day it does get a lot easier. And like if you can't put in the 6 months to be a better developer before you get your first job, then how are you going to be a developer for the rest of your life? Because you learn for the rest of your life. You're never done. Like there's always a new technology. There's always, you know, updates to the docs. There's like you're always going to have to figure stuff out. So if you can't do a 6 month sacrifice, like you're just not going to make it. Like that's just my opinion. Get
That's
used to it
true.
because it's happening.
No, that's very true. I like that. A lot of people, honestly, like a lot of people aren't going to become developers. And like I'm okay with saying that. And I think a lot of people get this misconception that everyone needs to learn to code and like that's like an easy way into the tech industry. Like learning to code is one of the hardest ways into the tech industry. I don't know why
Yeah.
people like I love that people want to better their lives and they want to change careers and and sometimes people just like want a better life for their family. It's not even they don't even want more money. They just want to better people they love. but why are you trying to become like a software engineer? Like there are even easier paths. Like you became a more traditional front end developer, but like what about an email developer? Like what about like learning WordPress and Shopify and getting into freelance a little bit and potentially agency work down the road? Like what happens when like you kind of go into like a low code developer position? Like getting these traditional front end and back end positions, I think they're just way harder than people realize. They're available, but there's a lot of options in tech. Let me ask a couple more questions. Where is it? How long do you have for this?
Oh, as long as you want.
Uh, okay, we won't go for like past an hour and a half, but maybe we'll get a little bit closer to that. Cool. All right, now we're starting to get questions coming in, so that's why I wanted to ask. Where was it? How often do you use Google to look things up you don't know during your workday, or do you ask your coworkers?
Realistically, probably like a couple dozen times a day. I mean,
Damn.
I look up everything. Like anytime I get the slightest snag, I'm like, why isn't this working? Or how do I do this? Like, like I said, the beginning of the stream is like I'm trying to figure out how to make hover work properly in tailwind.config. And I'm like scouring that all day. There's probably 40 tabs open on this laptop over here, you know? And I'm watching YouTube videos of like how to do this, how to do that to make it cooler, because like I said, there's always more to know. So it's like, okay, I know how to get the basics, but like, how do I make this smoother? How do I make this, operate on scroll, like things like that. So the Google tab is utilized all day.
Okay.
And yeah, and and I'm sure if you like you just joined the Tailwind, you'll see I already just posted a question there a couple hours ago on it too. Like, yeah, I'm always asking. I'm always looking things up. I mean, I'm
That's
a junior dev. I that's my job, to learn. I don't know this stuff.
yeah, that's I mean that's awesome to hear that. I looked a lot up and like yeah, especially in the beginning, especially as a junior dev, like you it's like 5 to 10% coding and like 90% looking things up and figuring things out and walking through old code in a like a different part of the code base. Like that is the reality for I would say a couple of years to be honest. And that gets a little bit easier over time, but that is the reality. And now I just want to just be careful about like one thing I think is a huge blocker for you is copying and pasting your old code. I think a lot more people need to get that muscle memory and actually typing it out. Even if I honestly like even if you have like a block of like 8 lines of code, just type it out again. Like don't copy and paste that function, not as an aspiring developer. You'd be surprised like, 3 months later when you haven't dove into that part of the code, you haven't really implemented something a certain way, like you'll forget it. In the beginning, it's just constantly reinforcing that muscle memory.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. I don't know how many times in the beginning, like I would type out everything every single time, even if I was looking at my old code and over, because the same thing, like muscle memory. Like you want to memorize it like lines in a play or something, like you got to do it over and over and over again.
That's true. It's repetition. Everything's repetition to build that skill up. How do you keep updated with all the new stuff coming up?
Same answer, Discord. All the alerts are in there. Anytime there's new stuff, anytime there's an event posted, like I get a little ding. I had to mute everything so that we didn't get dings throughout the
Thank you.
live stream. Because yeah, that's really how I keep update with everything. Because otherwise, you're gonna spend all day like going from tab to tab, adding everything. Just automate it that way. Put it on there. Let them alert you when it's time.
I like that. Um, are you currently building any projects on the side outside of work?
I'm working on this like test blog site that's very right now it's filled with mock data and just like pick some photos and stuff and everything. I'm just getting the skeleton down. Trying to do it around work, so it's, not as much free time, but it's utilizing the newer stuff I just learned, so now it's all TypeScript. It's all, like Tailwind. So it's not just like React and JavaScript and, Material or Next UI. Like, so I'm working on all that right now on the side. Also, it's on my GitHub, so you can see how entry it is right now. But I'm also like I said, I'm learning more different databases. I've only worked with Drizzle and another Mongoose. So like right now I'm doing like Postgres through Vercel for this new one. So that's what I'm working on at the moment.
Okay. I like it. So people can check that out if they want to see it.
Everything's public on my GitHub, yeah.
All right,
You
cool.
guys can go in there and rip my code apart.
There's No Finish Line by David Goggins. What do you think of David Goggins, Renee? Or sorry, not Renee, Zinka.
David Goggins, remind me what language he works with again. I remember the name, but I don't
Okay.
remember.
Sorry, bad question then. No. He's a content creator and influencer.
I see.
He's like he gives a lot of like real hard ass advice.
I see. I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I only know Primogen because he raided me once with like a massive community and I almost had a heart attack. I was playing Quake really, really poorly. I was like, oh God, now everyone's gonna make fun of me.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah. So I know him and I know you. And I know Lana. She's a game dev. But other than that, I don't know too many of them.
Okay. All right, cool.
Yeah.
Did you apply to a lot of jobs on job boards or did you focus more on the networking side?
I started heavy on the job boards and I realized it wasn't getting me anywhere. So then I switched over to the networking, and eventually that, I guess, is what got me the job. You know, it kind of technically got my internship too, because the way I got my internship, I actually got it before I graduated boot camp. And it was because I was actively chatting in like the live streams of my boot camp. And one of like the former professors, like his wife, was building a site that looked very, very similar to my final project. And that's how I got that. So just being active in other chats and communities actually works wonders. Or at least it has for me so far.
I probably should have been more active in chats. Are you active on Twitter?
I don't have Twitter or Instagram. I don't have any of that stuff. I think it's a waste of time.
Yeah. Yeah, for consuming content, it really is a waste of time. I 100% agree with you. That was a good answer. And yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to insult David Goggins by just saying he's an influencer, which is probably insulting. He was a Navy SEAL. Yeah, like he's a good guy to look up, especially for
Okay.
a lot of young men.
Yeah,
Uh,
especially, he's like military. My whole family's military. So I'll look him up. That looks cool.
oh yeah, you would love David Goggins. You should definitely check
Hmm.
out. Yeah, okay. Do you feel motivated to learn outside of work? Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I do all the time. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I have a bunch of books when I still am in contact with a few of my instructors from boot camp, and they send me books that they, have reviewed or have helped, write all the time, and I read those. And I just found out Postman has like an academy, so I went and signed up for that, so it can help me a little bit more with like APIs and stuff. So yeah, on the weekends, I'm always reading or doing a course or something, even if it's not directly related to my work per se, because like you said, you're always learning. There's always something you need to know.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah, that's true. And it's a double-edged sword. Like it can also be easy to burn out in this industry. There's always something to learn. There's always something that you could be doing.
I almost feel
Uh,
like you have to have a certain personality type to actually be a long-term developer. Like you kind of have to be a little bit of a psychopath.
okay.
Because like the amount of dedication and like persistence you have to have into it's not something you can do casually, I don't think. I think this is something it's got to be kind of a part of your life.
Well, and that's where this expectation of passion comes from. A lot of people don't like to hear it. Like, I just want a 9 to 5 job, but like a lot of really good developers, they love solving problems through code. They love building stuff. They love seeing what they build come to life and be used by people. Like, there needs to be some serious enjoyment if you want even any longevity in this industry. And if there isn't, like, there are other positions that are probably a pay upgrade for you. Like, easier to get into, you should consider other positions. I don't think you need to be completely passionate about it, but like honestly, if you're coming at this with an attitude of like I'm just looking for a 9 to 5, just do my work, be a drone, go home, and that's it. Like, there are hundreds of other people applying for that same position with that personality that you have. Like, you really think hiring managers are not going to want people that are really interested in this stuff? They're curious and they continue digging for it. It's like they're obviously going to choose people that actually really enjoy this and they're curious people and they keep going and they have that drive. Like, I 100% agree with you. It's just a lot of people. And that's why, like, a lot of people get stuck in this path of just tell me what I need to learn. Tell me what I need to build. It's like, what the fuck do you want to build? Like, why are you here? Why are you here coding? Why are you here learning to code? Like, what do you want to learn? Like, what sounds cool to build? If you could build anything in the world right now, any of the apps that you use, like, what would you want to build? And if not, like, nothing about what I just said excites you, and you're like, oh yeah, it'd be really cool to build something like this. Like, if you don't even get yourself to start thinking about how you can push yourself forward, and you don't and find enjoyment in growing as a developer and challenging yourself, like, I don't know, it's just not gonna be for you. Like, that's the reality. I think a lot of content creators cushion that too much. It's like maybe coding isn't for you.
And like you said, there's so many different routes in tech. Like my husband's IT, my brother's cybersecurity. Like there's so many different like routes you can take in tech that are good paying jobs. You don't have to be a programmer. Like you just think outside the box a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. It's a lot. Maybe we should do more videos of different areas in tech. YouTube's weird. I can't really branch out much, and if I do, like, it just starts confusing the algorithm, and then different videos don't get views. But
Yeah, unfortunately, they really pigeonhole you though.
It's true. A
Yeah.
lot of YouTubers get stuck, honestly, like doing what built their audience in the first place. And yeah, a lot of people get pigeonholed and they get bored too.
Oh yeah,
Uh,
it can get easily burned out if you're doing the same content for years on end.
Yeah, like I've gotten a little burned
Mhm.
out. I've given all the advice that's gonna get you a job, and I've given it like 3 times over. I'm bored. I'm tired of giving
Yeah.
the advice, to be honest, which is why I made that community post and thinking about like what else I want to do. I'll probably go back to live coding again. That was fun.
Yeah, I
Uh,
really liked live coding. I wish I had, like, the main reason why I don't do it now is because, if you don't do it, have a consistent schedule, like it throws your audience off because they don't really know when to like tune in. So like right now with my schedule, I couldn't have a consistent, well, like every Friday I'm gonna do this because I have to really look at my schedule and everything. And sometimes things come up. So like I just don't do live streaming anymore, but I do miss live coding. Like just it was fun.
what do you think is better? You live streaming once in a while for your audience, or you never live streaming?
Once in a while is probably better.
It is.
Something is probably better than never. We're gonna be moving into a bigger place here soon, so hopefully after that, I'll have like an actual room for my office instead of this. You guys can't see because I blurred it because it's a wreck back here. It's a living room, dining room, office. So there's like, I don't
But
know. Once I have my own office, I think it'll be easier.
okay, I'm gonna push this. How does that block you from live streaming right now?
It's well, also my neighbors are really loud, so I'm surprised they're actually
Can't
quiet right
even hear
now.
your neighbors.
Yeah, I'm surprised like they're not loud. Well, they're not loud right now, but they're usually really loud. So that was also like really stressful. But like I kicked my husband out. He's on the porch right now because he works from home sometimes too.
Oh no.
So and his office is like right behind mine. So
Okay.
like it's just a lot going on at the moment.
Okay.
So I feel like so once I have my own space and I don't have to like kick him out to the patio and stuff like that, that would probably be a little easier.
Fair enough. Okay. I was just trying to see if it was an excuse or not, but it sounds like you probably let like the environment stress you out and prevents you from
Yeah.
enjoying the live stream.
Yeah, then the environment's a little crazy. Also like there was a lot of pressure just like starting a new job. Now that I'm feeling a lot more comfortable, like the idea of streaming more is becoming more of a realistic idea. I
Okay.
think that was like a lot of it. Just the first 6 months, I was so pressured of like constantly trying to prove myself, and like to prove like I do deserve this position and like, but now, like I said, I understand things a lot better. It's probably more realistic, but also, like I said, we're going to be moving here soon too. So it's like I shouldn't start a schedule until after that. So we'll
Okay.
see. Maybe this summer I'll start live streaming every now and then. We'll,
That'd be
we'll see.
cool.
I don't want to make any promises. I mean, I've been on and off streaming on Twitch since I think 2018. So it's something I do for like a year or two, and then I'm gone, and then like I'm the most inconsistent streamer ever, I swear. I don't know why anyone follows me.
Well, I hope you do start streaming again. I think a lot of people enjoyed your stream. Let's
Nice.
see.
I hope
Yeah,
they did.
they did. You had a good stream. You really did. Jessica asks, it sounds like between your internship and your new job, you've been around a few developers. Would you say being a woman in tech is tough to fit in and feel accepted as a credible developer?
Okay, well, I'm gonna be completely honest. I feel like I get special treatment because I'm a woman.
How so?
Um, I feel like people are far more patient with me. People are far more willing to give me more time to like private time. Like I even noticed this in boot camp. Like a lot of my instructors would take more private time of like, oh, you need an hour on Tuesday? Okay, I got you, you know? Like I mean, granted, my motivation might have played a role too, but like even one of my instructors flat out said it's like, you're a cute girl, you're gonna get special treatment. You know, and I was like, oh, okay. You know, and so I personally haven't experienced any downfalls for being like a woman. I feel like it's kind of benefited me in some ways. But my brother, he always tells me like to be careful because like things get creepy in tech for women. I was like, I guess I'm lucky because I haven't experienced it yet. But you know, like I said, I guess it's just my anecdotal experience. Like, I don't know. I don't feel like my gender's played a negative effect. Like, but also like I said, I can't expect to be taken too seriously right now because I'm a junior dev. I'm inexperienced. You know, like I wouldn't expect anyone, regardless of my gender, you know, of like how I come in with my experience level. They're gonna be like, yeah, yeah, okay, like you have to learn, sit and listen, be humble, you know what I mean? So like
Hmm.
maybe if I was a senior dev, I would have a different outlook, you know, like how I am treated across the board, you know, with other senior devs. But I don't know what that's like, you know? So maybe it's vastly different when you get to that point, but I won't know until I get to that point.
You know, it's interesting to hear that perspective, and I think some some women kind of just get a narrative in their head based on other women that also are anxious, and it's kind of just like a game of telephone of like this anecdotal story of what could happen. And I find that like I've talked with thousands of developers, many who are women. I hosted a meetup in Chicago. We had just tons of people coming through there. A lot of it's just attitude. A lot of people, there are some women that do kind of have that fear that they're not going to be accepted in tech or taken seriously. And I find the more that I dig into their situation or I see the interactions happening when they're even pair programming and stuff like that, a lot of it's just attitude. And one thing that you have, Zinka, honestly, like you have a humble attitude. You have a really, you just have like a positive, bubbly attitude. People like being around you. People like talking to you. And like, that attitude is probably like what's gonna really set you up with developers just like wanting to get to know you, wanting to like have you on the team, loving working with you. Like it really comes down to attitude. You have a really good attitude.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like I'm a little negative, so it's good to hear that I'm not.
uh really, why do you think you're too negative?
I could say like sometimes it's because I'm always like saying I'm not good enough, you know, like, oh, I gotta get better, I gotta get better. I don't know enough. So a lot of times I'm probably too hard on myself, maybe. I don't know.
That's fair. I think a lot of I think a lot of us are too hard on ourselves. It's a good reminder to kind of just give ourselves permission to be currently who we are. And like you said, like when you looked at your old project, you went back to your Final Fantasy project, you're like, this is trash. Like,
Yeah.
but that's a signal that like you grew so much with, between these 2 points in time. Like, and I think you have to look at your old projects. You have to take a second to get out of like, oh, I got to learn this, this, and this. And sometimes just look at the past and see how much you've improved. Because I think way too many people are anxious about the future. But yeah, it's I I can relate to being way too self-critical, but I feel like so many developers are like that.
Yeah. This constant strive to like be better than you were, to be the very best, you know, kind of thing. But you do have a point. Like anytime I feel really down on myself, all I have to do is open up an old code pen from like 2019 from my free code camp days. And I'm like, yeah, you've made some progress.
Damn. Yeah, you probably have some like janky apps on CodePen.
Oh, it's embarrassing. But yeah, like
Um,
it's those moments, it's like, okay, I can do this. I am getting better. I'm not where I want to be yet, but I know if I keep at it, eventually I will be at a point where I'm content.
Good. Glad to
Yeah.
hear that. Um, where was the question? Have you come across any challenges working with your coworkers or leadership of your company?
I've been really lucky with my job and my internship, but there was a group project I did with some old alumni before I got my job. And the main issue I had was it seemed like two people in the team were motivated and the rest were not. Like they were just absent, they weren't really participating, like they would ask questions that were very easily Googleable. And that's why I think that group failed. Like, just because like there was two serious people and everyone else was like, how do I do this basic thing? And it's like just type it in the search bar, please. I don't mind explaining other things, but like this is rough. So I feel like and like work with a really small team now, and my internship was also a really small team. So I haven't really ran into issues there. I'm sure with a larger team that you probably would have more like butting heads and stuff, but I haven't really experienced anything crazy yet. Everyone's been really chill, everyone's been really cool. I mean, I'm the only junior dev on my team now, so they're all pretty patient with me, like I'm the young Padawan, so but yeah, I mean, I know there's some people who have a bad attitude, who like have a know-it-all, like you don't belong here attitude. I kind of experienced that a little bit, in some coding communities, but never like on a team that I've worked on, with so far.
Okay, sounds like overall, once you got into the industry, it's been a pretty good experience.
Hmm.
And you got to
Yeah.
realize a lot of companies are weeding people out that, like, if you're doing group projects and even in your coding boot camp, you just have that one person that's lazy or just a dick. Like,
Hmm.
companies weed those people out. Like, those people
Yeah.
very rarely make it into the industry. Um, but I, I'm not going off on a rant right now, but it triggers me so much when people ask me a question that literally, if they just copied and pasted that into Google, it's literally answered. It's
Yeah.
so lazy. That is, and it triggers me not so much that I have to answer the question, but that like the answer to this question isn't even going to help you. What's going to help you is teaching you that you have to be a tiny bit resourceful in this world. You
Yeah.
have to. Being a developer is being curious. Being a developer is like when you get stuck, you figure it out. How do you figure that out? And if you're not even willing to do a Google search, wow, is this career going to be rough for you?
I mean, that's like one of the first things they teach you, at least in my boot camp, was like the 20-minute rule. At least spend 20 minutes looking it up yourself and then seek help. So like if you're asking a question that obviously, like I said, I know would be the first line in a Google search, you didn't do the first step. Like you don't want to learn to code, you want me to code for you.
Yep.
And no thanks, I'm not interested in that.
I like that. Yeah, yeah, exactly. That's exactly what it is. And by the way, there was a question: does she have a YouTube? By the way, if you want to know what she has, she is in our Discord server. She is one of our moderators. I'm going to type discord.gg/Don the developer in chat. Definitely join our Discord server and look at her profile. Everything's connected.
Yeah, my YouTube is just some old game
Oh,
Let's Plays.
I was
It's
trying to
nothing
lure
code
them in.
related.
Don't. All right.
Yeah, no, my YouTube I don't even advertise because like I said, it's just some old Let's Plays.
Okay.
My Twitch is where like the coding stuff. I have some old videos still saved on there. I pretty much wiped out all of the gaming stuff off of my Twitch because like I said, that's so old and outdated now. But yeah, as you said, in the Discord, you have my GitHub, you have my Twitch, you have all my gaming profiles if you guys want to play a game. It's all on there.
Okay.
But yeah,
All right.
join the Discord.
All right, cool. AI scares me sometimes. As a front end dev, I see AI web builders every other week. What do you think about just kind of like website builders, replacing front end devs.
When you say website builders, do you mean like Squarespace and stuff like that?
Yeah, uh, that's probably not what that person meant. But I'm just curious, actually. But yeah, sites like Squarespace. What do you think about them replacing devs?
Well, I guess the one way I explained it to someone outside of the industry, because they found out I was a dev and they were like, okay, how do you compete with, people being able to build their own websites with sites like this? And it's like when you have sites like that, you're gonna have a regular template that they let you choose from and all these options they let you choose from, but nothing's gonna be customized. And like, don't you have your domain through their site? So,
You can hook up a custom domain to it, I think.
okay, well, that kind of just changes it. But still, like you don't get to really customize any of it, at least I don't think. I don't know, I've never messed with any of them before because they seem boring to me, you know? Like I want to do the actual work myself, but I don't know, I feel like when you hire a dev, they do all the hard work for you and like they can fix the code from the future at any time. They can update things anytime. Like I mean, my hairdresser, for example, she has one of these sites, and she's like, "Oh, don't make fun of my site. It sucks so much because like she doesn't know it. She's a hairdresser, so she's like, I don't know. I just filled in the things. So like, yeah, they exist, but are they going to give you a good site? Like, really? Like I don't think so. I think you're going to get a much better site from an actual dev that you, even if you just hire them off Fiverr, like I feel like you'd get a better site. And I mean, a lot of people are, I guess, kind of figuring that out. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know. I see a lot of these made sites and they just don't look that good to me. So,
They look the same. They looked like
yeah.
they were made at Squarespace. And as soon as you need more customization, it becomes more of a pain in the butt to try to hack the limitations of that site in terms of like adding like a bunch of libraries and stuff abstractions on top of it. It gets really messy. It gets hard to manage. Like even if you're using, and you'll get this experience when you're using like a website template builder in WordPress, where like it's really good for marketing teams to be able to make quick changes, but it's not manageable. It's not organized. It's, we have more traditional ways to organize. As traditional devs, we have just better ways to organize our code and navigate through it. Like even the template builder for WordPress, it's just janky. It's limited. But yeah, like a lot of these Squarespace sites, they look the same, and I think a lot of people have kind of come to terms with there's limitations with them, and obviously as a front end developer, you're going to need to be able to build more than just a landing page. But yeah, that's literally like one of the last things that you should worry about.
Yeah, I don't see them as competition, especially since the people who are using them are people who have no idea like anything about code. That's why they're using them.
Yeah. I enjoy coding and problem solving, but I am confused about whether I should focus on a specific tech role or become more of a jack of all trades.
Don't become a jack of all trades. No one's a jack of all trades. Like, right? Like,
Damn.
I don't. I focus on your stack, and that's it. Like, that was one of my biggest mistakes when I first started. I was more proficient with JavaScript, and eventually went into React. And I was like, after all my big camp, I was like, I want to get good at Python. And I feel like I wasted like a year on Python when it's like, man, like that's not what you know. And now I'm coding in, essentially React, Next.js and JavaScript and TypeScript. And I feel like I wasted so much time on Python that I never used and I'm probably never gonna use. Like, yeah, I like Python, but it's not my stack. It was a waste.
Yeah, a lot of people, man, coding boot camps just teach you too much in a short period of time. The knowledge is spread too thin. A lot of people need to dive deeper, a lot deeper.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that was one thing I noticed after boot camp was they did not prepare me for a job at all. Not at all. They gave me the resources. They gave me like the accountability of turning something in weekly and working with the team, which is all very useful. Like definitely jump started, me more seriously into becoming a dev because before that I was just doing like free code camp and on my own time and I wasn't making any progress. So it did give me the next step, but it didn't give me like the key to success right off the bat. Like I still had to do a lot on my own, and I still had a lot to learn, and like all the tabs and links they give you, you do need to read those, all right? Like if you don't, you'll know nothing. So yeah, you have to do a lot of it like afterwards. It's not as, and I hate when they sell it to you like, oh, go to boot camp and in 6 months, you'll make six figures. Like, no, you won't. You won't. Don't let them lie to you like that. It's just not true.
Yeah. There are different quality coding boot camps. New Camp seems to be much more surface level, and kind of like
Yeah.
it gives people an outline, and a lot of people, at least from what people are saying with the graduates, like a lot of people just need to come out and just really just learn a lot more, build tons of projects. But that's how, like, if you're going to save money for a cheaper coding boot camp, like, I think a lot more people should do that because it gives you an outline. It kind of gives you an opportunity to, like, a lot of people kind of just want that initial structure and a little mentorship, right? But it's the problem comes when the coding bootcamp oversells, like, oh yeah, this is an A to Z solution for you, and you're going to become a developer from our coding bootcamp. And like, if you're getting any sort of that signal from admissions or anyone in that coding bootcamp, like, most coding bootcamps can't deliver on that. Now you get some more expensive coding bootcamps that'll better prepare you, but like you said, like, you have to depend on yourself. No matter what program you go through, don't expect it to land you a job, and figure out the holes of the program. Figure out the holes, figure out what you need to supplement afterwards. But use it to kind of give you that initial outline. But yeah, I'm not going to get into a rant about marketing for coding boot camps. That's a whole other
Yeah.
conversation.
That's a whole nother hour of conversation there.
Yeah, it really is. Um, if you were tasked to learn a new language or work with a new piece of technology, how would you go about being proficient at it as quick as possible?
As quick as possible. Open up the docs, follow step by step, build something with it. Like, that's probably the quickest, easiest way where you're actually going to absorb everything. Maybe supplement a few things that you don't understand with some YouTube videos. But that would probably be it. Yeah, just read the docs, build something with it. That's best advice I can give, I guess.
No, that's good advice. That's the process. Don't overcomplicate it past that. And I think you get to a certain point when you're picking up a new library where, if you have a solid foundation, you start developing the confidence to be able to look up a YouTube video or an article that's more specific, and then learn specifically what you need to learn to solve your problem. And you pick up a new library because it makes your app better. It like, that abstraction is something that's going to be useful as a feature, and it makes sense to bring it in as a library. It just, like, get a use case for it. I think sometimes people dive into a new technology when they don't really have a good idea of, like, why they're learning it. They're just like, oh, I was told to learn this. That's a really that's a rough mindset to go into learning something new with. I think a lot of people find that it's much smoother when there's a reason to learn it. And they're like, I want to build this thing, and it requires me to learn this thing in order to build this thing. So let me look up a specific article that focuses on exactly what I'm trying to do. Let me look up the documentation, only, like, pick out certain pieces of that documentation that's relevant, right? You look at docs, documentation is meant to cover everything, and it's easy to get lost into the docs. But if you have a purpose going into it, that becomes way easier, becomes way less overwhelming.
I totally agree. Yeah, if you're reading something for no purpose, you're not going to retain any of it.
No.
Hmm.
No, definitely not. And if you guys have questions, if you have blockers about becoming a web dev, feel free to ask in chat with Zynkah. We got about 16 more minutes and we'll wrap it up then. But a lot of good questions. And you're probably checking out chat every once in a
I have
while.
an eye on it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So both Zynkah and I are looking at chat. So just because we don't respond to everything doesn't mean we don't see what you're saying. And what's up, B? How you doing? What are your thoughts on Free Code Camp?
So as I told you, I started with Free Code Camp, and it's a good place to start if you're like really casual about it. It's like, okay, I want to get my feet wet. I kind of want to experiment a little bit. When I first started, I didn't know they had a YouTube channel. with like all these people. So I might have had a better experience if I was able to follow along with the videos at the time. But as I told you, I felt really lost with it. And I felt like I was just going through the lessons and like answering the questions and filling in the blanks. And then the final project would come up and I'm like, how do I do this? You know, like I don't know.
Mm.
But if you watch the videos with it and like go to the forums and actually utilize that on the page and everything, it might be a better experience. It's just the only problem with free code camp is that you don't have like set deadlines and you don't have a official mentor and like class and like when you have a job, you're gonna be in a group, you're gonna have expectations, and that doesn't really prepare you for that part of coding. But like I said, for walking in, first step, like you want to learn web fundamentals, you know, you want to learn the basics of React, it is free. And it's set up pretty well. And they've added a lot of courses. I went on there recently, like a lot of stuff. When I first started it, there was like 4 courses, and now I think there's like 16. So it is a good way to start. I don't expect someone to like be a proficient developer that could get a job off that alone though.
Yeah, I don't know why there are a few people that still sell it as an A to Z solution. I don't like you're just hurting like what free code camp is meant for. It's like it's a really good start. It's free, it's a start, and there's a variety of like things you could dive into and just see like, hey, is this for me? And I think, you know, in the beginning, sometimes people ask, what am I supposed to learn? And my question is, what do you want to build? But ultimately, like sometimes you just want to learn a little programming without wanting to build anything, and you just want some exposure. It's like I kind of just want to get my feet wet and see what this is, right? Like I think Free Code Camp is a really good resource for that, where you can get your feet wet. Do you even like writing what you're writing? Do you like what you're learning? Do you like the lesson? Like it doesn't have to be like the perfect lesson or the perfect structured lesson to help you retain everything just perfectly and give you depth of knowledge. Use it to give you exposure and just try something. I think sometimes people just need to try anything.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. It's a good first step, but it's not the solution.
Yeah. Thoughts on LinkedIn quick applies versus the job applications that take a bit more effort and time to finish?
When I first got out of boot camp, I did a lot of LinkedIn applications, like probably hundreds. I don't think I ever heard back from a single quick apply. So I don't know how useful those are. I was told to actually go to the company website and apply there. I got some responses doing that, but I didn't get a single job from LinkedIn. So I don't know. And I got a lot of scam offers from LinkedIn. So I don't know really how useful I mean, LinkedIn is great for networking, but for actual getting a job, I mean, at entry level, I don't know how successful that's going to be. I didn't have any success with it at least. But also, I probably wasn't doing it correctly, being, like I said, entry level, not really know what I'm doing. I created a LinkedIn like out of boot camp. I never even had one before then. So who knows? Maybe I was doing it all wrong.
No, you weren't. And that's the thing. It's sometimes hard to give advice on how to navigate through scams without looking at the specific scam. But one way you can do it is when you do see a job posting on a job board or LinkedIn, go directly to the company website. Look up the company. Does it look like a real company? And I think one advantage I had when I got my first position, it was going to the company website and they asked me a bunch of additional questions. And I remember being annoyed. I'm like, all right, this is like my 4th application today. And now I got to answer all these extra questions. They're probably not going to call me back. I don't think I was that negative with it, but I'm sure some of those thoughts were in my mind. And so I can understand the frustration of going to the company website. Now I got to do all this more work. But like, it goes back to what you said, Zynkah. It's like, you need to stand out. Like, there are 300 other people that are doing this quick LinkedIn apply, even if the company isn't a scam. Like, do you really think you're going to stand out by doing the quick apply on LinkedIn? Like, you're not. So many people are just going through and just throwing spaghetti at the wall and seeing what sticks. And like, you choosing to actually take the extra step to give the information that they probably want. And they're kind of like telling you what information they want on their website sometimes. Even if you get those extra questions, they're telling you what they give a shit about. Like, use that.
Mhm.
And if you're not even willing to do that, then okay, go into the pile of hundreds of other resumes and just that gets tossed into the trash. Like, which option do you want? You know?
Exactly. You got to be realistic. Sometimes you got to put yourself in their shoes. It's like how would you feel if you had like 300 applications and they put no effort in and be like, yeah, toss it out until like one has like a little shiny star and like, oh, wait a minute, who are you? You know, you got to be that one.
Yeah, I completely agree. Um, do you think a boot camp will help a new dev get a job in this market? I'm self-taught, but will be part of a company-sponsored program that involves a boot camp, 100% paid and legit, by the way. Okay.
Um, I don't think boot camp is a guarantee to get you a job, no. But the tools and what you learn and the habits you get from a boot camp, that will get you a job if you take it seriously. You know, so it's more about, like I said, learning to work with a team, learning to be, a good mentoree to a mentor, I don't know if those are the right words, but I think you know what I mean. Having, like I said, deadlines, being a part of a community, learning to problem solve, that's what will get you a job. The certificate itself is not going to get you a job. Everyone has a certificate now, that proves nothing. Like your projects and your personality, your motivation, your drive, your consistency, that's what's going to get you a job. And if going, like I said, boot camp's what it took for me to get all those things instilled in me, because I wasn't successful on my own. And I went ahead and, dished out the extra money to get the skills I was lacking in and the resources and the connections and all that. So that's what I really think boot camp's good for, because anyone could self-teach, but like the other parts of the boot camp, you can't really self-teach, you got to experience it, but it's not a guarantee.
Yeah, it's definitely not a guarantee. And I like the idea of like if you're going to go to a coding boot camp, it gives you those tools. And I think honestly, most self-taught developers should go to a coding boot camp. That's just the reality. Like you can find cheaper coding boot camps. Maybe you need to save up. Like, but a lot of these self-taught developers need to instill the resourcefulness, how to
Mhm.
look things up, how to learn, and get a little bit of mentorship to get that momentum. That's what a lot of self-taught developers need. And I just see them failing
Yeah.
and giving up over and over and over. Like that's what a coding boot camp at this point can really give you. And again, there are different quality coding boot camps that will push you further and closer to that job. I just think you should be very careful about even seeing a coding boot camp as an A to Z solution at this point. And just the job placement rates, there's a whole whirlwind of controversy around what's going on with Sir and some of the um, just like Sir used to be kind of this organizational standard we had for coding boot camps reporting actual outcomes, and there were regulations and restrictions around it that gave you a little bit more confidence with it. And now it's rough. You don't like my honest opinion is do not trust coding bootcamp outcomes. Don't trust placement rates. Just don't trust them. There's always ways to kind of pick and choose the certain data to be able to serve up the highest percentage possible. And then from a legal sense, kind of word things just enough so that you're not going to get sued, but you're obviously not being that honest. Just don't trust placement rates at this point. But like you said, like if you're going to go to a coding boot camp, which is a good option for a lot of people that, can't afford a CS degree, use it to like build the right mindset and get that momentum going, get a good foundation, get a structure, and use a coding boot camp for that. But yeah,
And
that's where
overall,
go ahead.
oh, sorry. Overall, it's a fun experience. I really, I went to a really affordable boot camp that was very, like I said, basic. But even then, like I had an amazing experience. I still am in contact, like I said, with several instructors I had and a few classmates, and I really looked forward to the Saturday, classes and everything. Like just that alone was, I think, worth it. I know it sounds like so cheesy, but it was really nice. It was really fun because I went during COVID, so like, all the lockdowns and everything. So I was really, really looking forward to like my weekly thing. There was nothing going on in my life. I was like, yay, you know?
Yeah, it feels good to be part of a community. So even for like self-taught developers, you mentioned like get involved with discords and it feels good to just not feel alone in this journey. I remember when I was trying to become a developer and I hadn't even thought about getting involved in an online community. Like there were no local tech community. I think there was like a local tech community, but there weren't any developers there. It just it's hard to do this alone. It's self-defeating and it helps to kind of just see what's going through other people's minds and what they're learning, what they're interested in. It's really cool to do a group project where it's like, man, you know what? If like I can't fail because I have someone else that's going to help me when like I get stuck and I can help them when they get stuck. And you can feed off of each other's energy with that. And it's just fun to do a group project. It's fun to talk coding with other people. A lot of people sleep on that. A lot of people feel alone when trying to become an aspiring developer. It's because, and also a big chunk of it is a lot of people will even join Discord servers, but they won't even participate. They won't
Yeah.
take the initiative.
Yeah, they're just kind of like lurking in the distance there. Like you post something, like talk to people, even if you don't know the answer, like maybe it's this. It's okay to be wrong because we're all wrong sometimes. Like I don't know how many times I'm like, oh, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. And it's like, yeah, no, you're wrong. But it opened up a conversation to thinking about other things, and then eventually it leads to the right answer. And I'm so used to always giving the wrong answer. I'm not even embarrassed anymore. I just like to put in my input.
Yeah.
So like I think a lot of people are afraid in communities to sound like the uneducated noob, but we all are sometimes. So it's okay. No one's gonna make fun of you. And the people who do make fun of you, no one likes them. So don't worry about it.
That's true. That is very
Yeah.
true. Um, yeah, that's one thing I discovered. If I, if I, well, if there's like a part of a personality of someone that just like is really irritating or obnoxious, usually other people have recognized that as well and haven't really said anything. So, um, but yeah, but it helps to also like make sure you surround yourself with people that are actually helping you grow. And honestly, this is one thing you don't talk about, or like just that's not talked about in general. Sometimes you just have like family and friends that get a little jealous, or they're not, when they see you kind of rising up and going for something and challenging yourself more to be better than what you were. Like a lot of friends and families can get comfortable with you just being where you are. And as soon as you start trying to rise above that, sometimes you get a little bit of jealousy. And like the family and friends that do actually support what you're doing and make you feel good about what you're doing and feel good about yourself as you're trying to better yourself. Like I noticed that's a good signal for who like I need to keep in my life and, who I want to maintain that connection with. But you got to surround yourself with people that are bettering you, whether it's like them being critical in a constructive way is bettering you or them cheering you on is bettering you. You just got to recognize, is this person actually helping me grow and supporting my growth?
Oh yeah. I mean, I'm all about constructive criticism. I love it. I got fairly thick skin, so I don't take a lot of things personally when people say like this is wrong. I want to hear stuff like that so I can be better. It's like I said, it's more like negative people like you're wasting your time. This is stupid. Like I don't like people like that. They're not benefiting me at all. And like I said, a lot of it comes out of jealousy and they want to drag you down with them and you got to weed those people out. Like not everyone in your life has to be positive, but they have to at least be helpful in your journey, whether they're tough on you or not.
Yeah, I 100% agree. It helps. It makes a huge difference. What any upcoming video games you're looking forward to playing?
I mean, you guys already know I'm playing Strangers of Paradise right now. Upcoming game, I really cannot wait for two. One's probably never gonna come out ever. It's been waiting forever. Hollow Knight Silk Song, the sequel to Hollow Knight. I would love for that to come out this year, but it's probably not. And then the one that's probably gonna come out this year because it looks like it is Little Nightmares 3. I really like the Little Nightmares franchise too, so I'm really looking forward to those two. But yeah, that's pretty much all I can think of off the top of my head. And catching up on the Final Fantasy games I missed over the last few years because I've been just focusing on coding, you know?
Yeah,
What
yeah,
about you?
you have some games to catch up on.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna start looking into like liminal spaces. There was a new. I think I'm gonna play a game on Saturday. It's a new kind of like a backrooms pools game. I think I'm gonna
Hmm.
dive into that. But
I
I
love
think
the
I'm start.
bathrooms.
Do you? Oh, it's
Yeah.
so good. Do you get?
Yeah.
I got a question. Do you get an eerie feeling from them, or is it a calming feeling?
More eerie, but like a good eerie. I like to be scared.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and that's where I want to start looking up some horror games. I haven't played horror games in a while.
Oh, I can give you a long list. I've played so many horror games. I love horror games. Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
If you want
Awesome.
to play a liminal game, that's like kind of weird and out there, the Super Liminal, I think that's what it's called. It's on Game Pass. That one was pretty trippy. I played that one when it first came out, and it's like a puzzle super liminal like game. There's a ton of them though. I can go on and on. I'm not gonna list them all here, but yeah, I love Backrooms. Like, I can't wait till the King Pixel movie comes out. You know, all that stuff.
Wait, what? You can't wait till what comes
Do you
out?
know Kane Pixel? He's like the
No.
king of backrooms. Oh my God. Google or YouTube Kane
Okay.
Pixels. All right. Like, he's the one who made all the good backrooms videos. And he's making a movie apparently. He's doing something. He did the longest view like afterwards, which is something unrelated. But yeah, no, he's like the king of backrooms. You got to look him up.
I am actually right after this. I'm gonna look him up.
He's really
Um,
interesting. He's like 17, did the whole thing on Blender, like when he was in high school. Like, yeah, his story is really cool.
really?
Well, he's not 17 now, but when he started, he was 17.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's really impressive. And
Damn.
once you see the quality of it too, you'll be like, wow, really? A teenager did this in Blender? Like, hats off.
Yeah, no kidding. I'm gonna look him up after this. Because I'm definitely I would be down to watch a movie. I watch like YouTube clips of different backrooms. Like people have kind of their own variations with the backrooms, but there's something about the pool rooms. I think it's because I love water, and I was like a swim instructor and all of that. I think I just love water, but there's something about the pool rooms that makes me feel so comfy and with an eerie feeling at the same time.
Yeah, no, the blue glow and everything. Yeah, it
Mhm.
looks kind of nice. I get what you're saying.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, we're pretty much gonna wrap it up here. I think I appreciate everyone coming out. And by the way, before I forget, everyone in chat, I'm gonna post it one more time. Yeah, if you want to connect with us, remember this is Zynkah. She's a front end developer. She's one of my mods in Discord. Feel free to join us in Discord. I just trimmed down the channels a little bit to make it it's easier to navigate, but we're going to be hosting a hackathon starting March 1st. And all you have to do is join the Discord and then click the events and just sign up for the event. That's it. Basically, the only requirements are provide updates. So you're going to work on your project at least 3 days a week, provide updates to those projects. And it's going to be about 4 weeks long. And then I'm going to live stream and showcase some of the projects. But keep in mind, like if you've only learned HTML and CSS, like make a landing page your project. It's very beginner friendly. It's very open to people that are kind of just starting out. You'll have to figure out how to create a new repository and commit to it, but we could probably provide an easy tutorial for that. But yeah, feel free to join us. But yeah, thanks for coming out. And Zynkah, thank you so much for hopping on and doing this. I really appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, anytime.
Okay, cool. Stick around for a little bit, but everyone have a good rest of your night. As always, good luck in all of your projects and happy coding. Take care.